welcome. Today we're going to be making Oreo dip. So we are in unit 1, so we're still learning how to use our kitchen. So the first 3 things that I did before lab, I put my hair up, I put on an apron, and I washed my hands. Once I have done all of those things, I am going to want to take a peek at my kitchen job for the day so I know what me and my group are supposed to do. And then I'm going to start to do my mise en place, which is a French term for everything in its place. You can kind of see I already have a couple things out at my table with the measuring spoons that go with it. When we start our labs, you're gonna see that we have a demo table that has all of the ingredients for the lab. Couple things with that. 1, please do not take more than you are supposed to, or else people who are in the later hours don't really get to eat at that point. And then the other thing is, please make sure you leave everything at the demo table. If you take the vanilla to your table to measure, then we have a bunch of other groups that are looking for the vanilla to use. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my softened cream cheese. So this should mean that it's like, I can push it around. It is not hard, it's not firm. So your teacher should have this cup for you, but also if you're going to measure it on your own, there are ounces across the bottom. So I'm gonna look for 1, 2, 3, 4 ounces, which I've already cut it to. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it in my bowl. And then I'm gonna throw that away or put it to the side. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure my powdered sugar. So when we measure anything like powdered sugar, flour, sugar, I'm going to overfill my cup. So I'm going to use a spoon and I'm going to pour in, and you can see I've overfilled. The reason I don't want to scoop in because it's going to pack it down. I'm going to use my straight edge spatula, it has a straight side, and I'm going to put that on top to level off. I should have one nice smooth surface. You shouldn't see any big ridges. This is what I'm looking for. I'm gonna pour that over top, and I can again put this off to the side. So now I have powdered sugar and cream cheese in here. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure my vanilla before I go ahead and get a mix. So I never want to measure my vanilla over my bowl, because what happens if I overfill? Where is it all going? Directly into my bowl, and that can mess up the flavor. It can also mess up your consistency. So I'm gonna get one of my little custard cups that you have in your bins or around your room, and you are going to grab your custard cup and your half teaspoon. I'm going to measure over my custard cup so I don't get it on anything, and I'm gonna try and get as close to the top as I can. Now I'm gonna pour in there. If you were to be bringing this back to your table, pour into your custard cup and walk back. Don't just leave this sitting, because they don't have a flat bottom, so everything's gonna tilt out. From here, I'm going to use my rubber scraper. The reason I want to use a rubber scraper for this recipe is because my cream cheese is sticky, and it also is something that I'm going to smear. So I want to make sure that I'm smearing this cream cheese smooth with my powdered sugar and my vanilla so that I don't have any clumps. So I'm going to go ahead and start by pressing my cream cheese, and you can see it's literally just spreading out like butter almost, right? It has the same kind of consistency. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start smearing that and mixing it. Use the side of your bowl to help you. Smear, smear, smear. You guys can see I've smeared it. I'm gonna keep going. I've now gone up and over. I wanna make sure that I don't have any clumps of powdered sugar. I don't have any streaks of vanilla. I have one nice consistency. And if your cream cheese is softened, it should happen fairly quickly. So I already have my smooth mixture. I'm gonna scrape that off of the sides, and I'm gonna put it into the middle of my bowl for my next step, which is going to be my whipped cream. So you might have Cool Whip, you might have cans of whipped cream, depending on what your teacher has. Now, when I do this, I wanna make sure that whatever I'm using, I'm getting it all the way to the bottom of the cup. You don't wanna fill it halfway, or else you're not gonna get the right consistency. So I'm gonna start directly in that bottom, and I'm going to fill. I do need to level off still, so I'm going to kind of mix in there. I am gonna use this as my little garbage bowl, and I'm going to level off my top. So I have my whipped cream. Now, whipped cream, if you've ever eaten it or had it, is not very mixable, I'll say. So it turns into a liquid pretty quick. So one thing we don't want to do is sit here and mix and mix and mix and mix and mix, because it's just going to create a liquidy mixture or consistency. So I'm going to go up and over, up and over. This is called folding. When we fold something, it means that we're gently mixing them together so that I don't lose the consistency of my whipped cream, and I don't lose the consistency if you were to be using something a little softer like blueberries, that you're not mashing them. So I've gone up and over a couple times, and you can see I have this whipped creamy mixture. Okay, now here comes the yummy part. We are going to do some Oreos with it. I've put 10 Oreos in a little baggie. I'm going to use my rolling pin. Now, we're not hulking out. We're not smashing these so loud that we can't hear each other think. I'm gonna start off by just rocking back and forth on my Oreos with my rolling pin a couple times. From here, we wanna make sure that we don't have a big air pocket, or else when we go, it's gonna pop like a bag of chips. So as I go, I'm just rocking back and forth. You can roll over them a couple times. You are crushing these to your like how much you like it. If you want them super chunky, you leave them super chunky. If you want them to be smooth, you leave them, or you roll them out quite a bit more. So I'm gonna go on both sides, and I'm gonna say that's probably good. So I didn't really go too harshly because I want there to be some bigger chunks. I'm now gonna take my bag of Oreos and I'm going to mix it in to my whipped cream mixture. I'm gonna make sure I get all the yummy goodness out of there and throw that away. Now again, we're just folding this so we don't break that whipped cream anymore. So you guys can see, this is very chocolatey. I have my mixture. I'm gonna scrape the sides of that rubber spatula to make sure that it all gets nicely incorporated. And then after this, there will be like a couple different treats that you guys can pick from to dip in with it. You'll put them in one of your little to-go cups, and this is your Oreo dip.